Yes, yes. Welcome in, everyone. You know who. I couldn't just give it up today on this wonderful day. In this pot right now on the One Burner Bachelor, the liquid juice from those sausages that we had too much juice from that we saved and put aside, and then added the cream of celery soup to on our last episode to make those sausages with the jalapeno and cheddar cheese and the habanero diced tomatoes. Oh my goodness, it was absolutely fabulous. But the juice we saved from that right now, we have in this pot burning on the cooking away on the One Burner Bachelor, an egg drop soup. I have no idea how you're really supposed to make that, but I have an idea. And I dropped some eggs and broke open the raw eggs and dropped them in the boiling water the other day and got some fabulous rolled over poached eggs and did what I wanted to do with them. And then I broke open a few eggs and mixed them all up and added them to our fettuccine noodles with the jus gravy, the Parmesan cheese, and all those to thicken it up on one of the previous episodes. But what I'm going to do right now, I just mixed up a couple of eggs. And I asked a friend of mine one time, how can I thin out my eggs without thinning out my eggs? Without adding water or something else to them. He said, put one package of salt in there, one of those little packets of salt. That's what I added to this, and that's amazing. I mixed the eggs around, a crazy thinned out the yolks. So when I do add them to this, they'll be more spread out and more of a coating and more to be able to do what it is they're doing. And I'm just going to add some powdered chicken gravy mix and some dry onion soup mix. And if I need to thicken it for some reason, I have some sour cream and chive powdered mashed potato mix. So we're going to learn as we go, but this egg drop, I don't think it's drop a whole egg because then that just limits to one egg in the soup. So I'm actually going to scramble the eggs, beat up the egg, which I already did, not add them to a solid pasta or sturdy base, but just to a liquid base, which is probably going to have the flavor of the chicken gravy mix and the onion soup dry mix, but also still rumbling in some boiling water before I add the eggs, and then I'll add the instant mashed potato mix if I need to, maybe thicken it up a little bit. Okay, we're learning. This is going to be fun. The water's rumbling on the pot. Let's see what happens. We'll be back. The One Burner Bachelor. Okay, we're back to One Burner Bachelor. This is soup, so it can't take crazy long. It's soup. So we mentioned before that we added the packet of the dry onion soup mix that had maybe made too much flavor, maybe too salty. That was to some mashed potatoes we added to it and some noodles and a thicker dish. But the fact that this is soup, then yay, there's plenty of liquid in there and we want all the flavor of that packet. So yes, we added the whole packet of that dry onion soup flavored mix. And we also added probably 1/3 of the chicken dried gravy mix to give things a little body, but more important, give things plenty of flavor. So we're letting that boil right now for a bit. And we've got our eggs broken down and really thinned out with a packet of salt. And if we need to thicken things up, we have some dried mashed potatoes. But yes, no problem using the whole packet of the onion soup mix because this is soup we're making. When we added it to mashed potatoes and a pasta mix for a little flavor, the whole packet was just too much. But this, because it's soup and it's onion soup and the onion experts know how much should be in a batch of onion soup, we use the whole packet. Let the experts help. That's why they're experts. We'll be back to One Burner Bachelor. All right, so it's time to just see what happens. Angelo's here with us. I don't really know what egg drop soup is, but I've mixed up a couple of eggs in here with just a little bit of salt to get them nice and thin. I have some nice thin onion soup mix, spicy, fancy water boiling. So to find out what it is, I'm just going to pour these eggs into this and see what happens while it's boiling and see what we come up with. Here we go. I have no idea really what to expect. Okay, the boiling stopped. And we're actually just going to let this sit for a minute and see what happens because I actually see what appears to be the white that's forming is maybe those eggs doing what we're hoping they're supposed to do. So we're not going to do anything for a minute. We're just going to let this sit, and we're going to put it back on pause. Actually, we are going to turn the heat down a bit, just because we kind of see that something good is happening. And wow, I think those eggs are thickening the soup like we hoped it would. And okay, 5.5 minutes in for soup, but this is a new thing. We'll be back. Wow. Okay, yes. The last segment again. That fluff and that color on the top is the eggs that we mixed with a little bit of salt and then is added to that bubbling onion soup fancy spice mix. We are absolutely not adding any dry mashed potato mix to that to thicken things up. This is just going to be an unbelievably delicious soup. The smell's unbelievable. Who knows what egg drop soup is supposed to be, but this is just some delicious soup mix that the One Burner Bachelor came up with today and mixed up a couple of eggs and thinned them out with some salt and added them to it to get some body to it. And this is what we have. Yikes. Are we onto something? Yeah, the One Burner Bachelor. Okay, it smells fabulous in here. We've got the heat turned back down. Let this just simmer and those eggs thicken, I guess. All right, we'll let you know how. Oh, if this is half as good as it looks, we're in business. The One Burner Bachelor. See you next time. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. In the penthouse apartment high above the city.